This show is a Phonic Media production.
Hey friends, today on the podcast we're going to be talking about what happens when you reach for greatness and then you come back to earth with a bit of a bump. Take him away. Take him away. Right, we have to be a little bit quiet on this podcast today, guys, because the hustle is real. We've ended up with... we're going to talk about it. We've got one poorly child, one overly hyped child.
Yes, it's been Grandad's birthday today.
Grandad's birthday.
So we...
Shout out to Nanny.
There's a whole
for
story
the most
behind it.
legendary cake.
Having fish and chips very late at night, followed by a chocolate cake.
Great thing when you want children to go to sleep, but they've just gone off. It's 8 o'clock at the time of recording this.
I can maybe hear them, but
can you? We'll deal with it.
Hopefully they are asleep because
Fingers
Louis
crossed.
has got this new thing. I think we said before that he's got a swear jar now. So if one of us swears, which is obviously very naughty, he's like, money now.
I respect that hustle.
So
I'd
be broke.
I love it.
Probably by the end of our podcast.
I love the fact that he just gets on and does it. He's like, give me the cash now.
I'm like, don't carry cash.
Fucking good lad.
Tally
Good lad.
up.
So we're going to have to be a little bit quiet today on the podcast because we're going to have to. Poquito. Is that?
Spanish?
That's a little bit.
Don't know.
Oh, close enough, wasn't it? Hello to all of our Spanish listeners. By the way, we are downloaded in Spain.
Hello.
Hola, amigo español.
Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo
Bien.
está?
¿Y tú? Is that Spanish?
That was worth 3, 4, 5 years of working abroad, wasn't it? We've got a review, haven't we? You ready?
Yes.
Oh, that's not the... Hello, we're in a nightmare here. That's better. Not really a review, is it? But it's going to be close enough. I hope this is no one's first... By the way, if this is your first ever business marriage podcast, it's normally like 17 and a half times better than this. This lackluster.
It's just that we're just a bit more on the
I also can't... When you talk quietly, I find you quite sexy.
Really?
So...
You said to me today, though...
It's lucky this table's here, that's all I'm saying.
I love you, but like today, I really love you.
Yeah, I do. I get days like that, though. Like, I always love you. And I
will.
By the way, I'm also not feeling very well, so if I have to duck out for a tactical puke, don't mind me.
I think the Berts might have a bit of a bug going around.
The Berts have got a bug. Anyway, go on, give us our review.
So...
Was it actually good?
It's amazing, but it's not like a written review, but I was at an event last week.
So you've made it up?
And I met one of our listeners.
No, who is it?
Her name is Charmin.
Charmin
Hussein, and she...
Shout out Charmin.
...has listened...
Alliteration works
to
beautifully
our
with that.
podcast for quite a while. She's always commenting on Instagram.
Oh, ledge.
And I met her at this event. And when I was talking, on my slide I'd mentioned one of the things that I get to do now is this lovely podcast with my husband. And... there was quite a lot of people that listened to it. It was very amazing. But she was just like,
so you've been waiting, haven't you, for months for someone to recognise you from the podcast, and now you've
all these people just saying it's
any
so
autographs?
funny.
Did you get to dish out any autographs?
Damn it!
You even had postcards. Is that why you took the postcards? You were going to give autographs?
That's it.
Twat.
No, that's exactly not why. Although now I think about it.
Did you have a Sharpie in your bag?
Yeah,
because if so, you definitely thought you were getting autographs.
Did.
Okay.
But she basically was just saying how it just brightens up her week and it really makes her laugh.
That's
and
awesome.
I was talking to her after, and she just said, honestly, listening to you two always puts a smile on my face as you give the listeners so many LOL moments.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you like it.
And it was nice.
Awesome stuff. It's worth it for that feedback.
Great feedback.
We had someone last week also message on Instagram, I think it was, who was like, I was listening in the gym, I nearly dropped the weights on my head from laughing. Laughing in?
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. So if you are listening in the gym,
don't drop weights on your head.
Don't drop weights on your head because that will hurt and we are not paying you if you try and sue us. And also, I know firsthand what it's like when you drop weights in the gym because I'm officially classed as a partial amputee.
Yeah.
So that finger,
finger,
the magic finger, it used to be, it's not anymore. That has got a, it's like...
It's just so
it's
vile.
like a,
hang on, no.
It's like a quarter of an inch shorter.
You're absolutely rank.
It's a quarter of an inch shorter and it's got like a big slit across it. So when I drop 2 weights... Sorry if you're having breakfast, by the way. If you're having breakfast, put it down.
James likes to go to the gym and stuff. You know,
what's the problem with that?
Big deal. Nothing.
What's the problem with that?
Talk about it a lot.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. We've got to tell about my new challenge, my new fitness challenge.
Oh, we do.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so drop the
come on
weight
to that.
between put your breakfast down. Drop the weight between. Put my finger between two weights. Dropped them. And I was like, it was so painful. My mate Steve, who I was with, shout out Steve Durant. Of course I was with Steve and I got
Always
injured.
With Steve
Always
Durant.
injured with Steve. He's a good laugh though. He was a former London Fire Brigade officer and he was like, don't worry mate, let me have a look at it. And I like showed it to him because I couldn't look. I was like, oh. And he went, oh yeah, that's fucked. We're going to hospital. And he had to whisk me off in the hospital.
Oh, it's so horrible.
It was like flapping. Do you remember it? Like flapping, the bone was sticking out the top.
Was it like Boxing Day? Our friend Chris had to like drive you.
It was the 23rd of December.
Was I pregnant?
Yes, you would have been. Yeah, of course you were. Yeah. So you were pregnant.
You had a severed finger.
I had a severed finger. I was on so many drugs. Obviously, all your nerve endings are in your fingers. So I was on drugs for like most of Christmas. I was fucked like the whole.
You were just like sat in the corner.
I was sat in the corner, just like dribbling, like because it would get really painful. Not a lot of difference.
To the alcohol days.
Not a lot of difference, guys. If you saw me this Christmas, you'd have thought the same thing had happened, given my mood. Anyway, so shout out to Charmin for being this week's review of the week in person.
I hope she listens.
And don't forget, well, of course she will. She's told you.
Thank you, Charmin. It made my day.
Unless she's one of them people that just thought you needed a boost. Maybe. But anyway, if not, thank you, Charmin. If you would like to leave a review of the week, if you would like to get a shout out on this here podcast, all you need to do is go to All you need to agadoo is go to. Oh, why do we not use that? All you need to do agadoo. We love a theme too. A theme too. I should stop. I can't fucking string a sentence together.
The lyrics to this. Agadoo do.
Great.
I forgot the next one. What is it?
Agadoo push pineapple.
Grind coffee.
What do you think it was?
It was grind coffee.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. You know
what do you think that move is?
I don't know, but you know when just
push pineapple, shake a tree. Do. Push pineapple, grind coffee.
I didn't know it.
So what would you normally sing?
Push pineapple, blanca fee or something. I've just said.
Push pineapple, blanca fee.
Doesn't even mean anything.
If you could just qualify if in any language blanca fee means anything.
Have you ever done that where you've just sung a lyric and you just suddenly think that's
all I'm about to think of now is the next one. Blanca fee.
Push pineapple, blanca fee. I mean, what does that mean?
Absolute idiot.
That was like a childhood favourite song of mine.
What? This is a good one. What? It happened last week. What is the number one lyric that you've missung for the longest time? Get in touch with the show. Click the link in the show notes now at Business Marriage Pod. If you have sung the wrong lyrics to a song for a long time, let us know.
Love it.
Let us know. Do you know George, our little one, he's 2. You know, normally like with kids, you have to like sing them a nursery rhyme or like, goodbye, baby. Do you know what song he likes for bedtime? We Will Rock You.
It's so annoying.
You have to sing We Will Rock You, but you have to do the verse and the chorus. So you're lying there with him. So you're lying there in his little face and you're like, buddy, you're a boy, make a big nice plane. You got blood on your face. Go sleep. Big disgrace, somebody better put you back in your place. And still he goes straight to sleep. You have to sing it.
I know, it's so
absolute
funny.
Maniac.
Not Barbara, but actually.
Anyway, come on then. Let's get into it. What's been going on? What's going on in the world of Hayley? Can't hear that?
No, not so.
Do you not? Do you not hear any of that?
No.
Sorry about that. What's going on?
Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're fine. Can you not hear that?
No.
Nightmare. Tech nightmare, guys. Anyway, go on, carry on. What a guanin.
We thought...
Never said that in the podcast before. We'd never say that again.
We were just...
Fucking should not be doing this.
An update because it's been quite an eventful few weeks, and I was sat there last night and I said, James, I know what we need to talk about. Those moments when
we will have an upbeat podcast at some point, we promise. We just got to wait for a win.
It's not a bad thing.
Singular win.
That moment when you come back to earth with a bump. So
not what Hayley's put on this piece of paper, by the way. When you come back to earth like a boss. Like a boss. She's so trained her mind to be a boss.
God, I'm such a boss.
I'm such a boss,
bitch.
Half of that sentence is true. Half of that sentence is true. Go on.
What boss or bitch?
Eva. Bitchy. Can you be a bitchy cat? That was last week as well.
So at the end of last week, I went to the Female Founders Summit, which is an event that was held in Manchester for female founders. And
that's a very good title for the event then.
Isn't it?
The Female Founders Summit is for female founders. Was it like a summit? Genius marketing.
And anyway, it was run by Lucienne Shakir, who was my
another
coach.
shout out.
Amazing.
Again.
Yeah, another shout out.
Bloody hell.
And
she owes us about 15 shout-out tokens.
Keynote speakers. There was Lisa Johnson, who's an expert in helping people make money online. And the
I love Lisa Johnson. She's fantastic.
Was super exciting. So if you watch Married at First Sight, Mel Schilling was the speaker.
Maths.
And she was sharing her journey, and it was massively inspirational. And in the day, there was 4 of us that did masterclasses. So there was a lovely lady called Jennifer Fannin who teaches people how to get their podcast on YouTube. So she's been working with us, which is exciting.
Yeah, very, very much looking forward to it. She's now in charge of YouTube. So if you're watching this video and you think it's shit, it's Jennifer's fault.
Yeah. There was a lady called Kim Hughes showing people how to get win awards. Nice. There was
could she show us how to win an award?
Siobhan Mears, and she was doing a whole masterclass. I'm just not even listening to you on strategizing your business operations, and then I did mine on building an impact for your personal brand.
Well, great sell. I did my talk on
creating an impact for your personal brand.
knows.
My brain is actually gone. But the point is, it was just amazing. I travelled up with my friend Rihanna. We stayed in a beautiful apartment for 2 nights.
Buckle in for some real details here, it
honestly,
seems.
But I'm just saying, like, you leave the kind of mum life
She wore black
behind.
when I picked her up, which was a very bad choice because it was very hot that day, and obviously black absorbed the heat. I told her this.
We were organised, but I'm just saying, you know, when you go away...
She took you lunch and breakfast and stuff, didn't she?
She made me wear a popo.
But that's her thing, isn't she? She's very
health conscious. Yeah. So I had 2 days away. It was like a whole day event, and it was like just the energy. It sounds really corny, but it's like a really fun event, but it's supportive, it's inspiring, and it just gives you that headspace to just be in that world and think about possibility of where you can go in your business.
So important,
because as we know, if you run a business, especially in like the infancy years, you find yourself in that trap of you're spending so much time working on the business. You know that you need to have time work in the business. You know you need the time to work on the business, but you don't do it. So I went away. It was amazing. Just connecting with people, just embracing it all. Loved every second. And then it's like... It's
the first time as well, like, you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so you actually have like a decent... I'm not even taking the piss now, no, but you actually like... No, that one is justifiable.
Yeah.
I mean, do you need to be away for 3 days for one?
It was 2 nights, but anyway.
But you actually get like a nice chunk of time away, and you just... I mean, you've got kids, especially young kids. You're just always watching the clock. Like,
exactly.
4 o'clock, you've got to be getting dinner on. 11 o'clock in the morning, you've got to be...
It's like, that is so true. It's just not having to think.
Yeah.
Like, Siobhan...
Just being brain dead.
Siobhan's also got young kids, and she was like, just that feeling of almost like waking up without an alarm or just like not having to do anything. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
But the point being is that obviously, number one, when you are running a business, it's so important to get yourself around people and have that switch off, because I told all my clients that I wasn't going to be around, and I just completely switched off.
Very not like you, isn't it? Very not like you.
But it was amazing, and it just gives me that, just that, not that I'm not like loving what I do, but it just reignites a passion, doesn't it?
Yeah, because
that fire going, and that kind of like
even if you love what you do, it just grinds you down to near death, doesn't it? Like a pumice on a kernel of flour,
like dry feet.
Like good,
like
very apt for you. Very apt.
I didn't.
But
have
also,
dry feet.
you've started to really like understand yourself,
I know.
and you need to be around other people you love. Whereas I'm like the opposite. Like, if I've been working really hard, I will happily see nobody for 5 days. So when you're going away with the kids in August, I'm probably doing nothing and seeing nobody. Like, that is the dream. I'm probably just going to go to work 6 in the morning for 16 hours a day. The dream.
Like, you hear a lot of people talk about burnout. Like,
I hear them, babe.
There's this culture of like, work hard.
Yeah.
But actually, like, we're like obviously believers in working hard. I think some people think, there is a balance when you're in business starting out. It is generally, you are going to be working a lot, but it is also true to be said that you have to look after yourself, like the basics of drinking water, exercising, eating well. And I said to you, I'd taken on a lot of work, and I was working every night. And it's not that I always mind, but it's when you've got no choice. It's when you've got no choice. And I said to you, didn't I? I was like, I'm starting to feel really tired and just like a bit like run down. And it's like that.
Just like banging the table. That'd be amazing.
Sorry. And those few days away, just like rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was amazing. But coming back the next day, it was a long journey. Let's just say the motorways were not kind. It took me 7 hours to get home, but that's fine. Me and Rihanna had a bit of car karaoke.
Nice.
And then it's like you get through the door and it's like you're so excited to see you and the kids. But then within 10 minutes, it is like we're trying to have a conversation to catch up on all this exciting stuff that I've gone through. And then selfishly, we want to have that conversation, but then you've got 2 kids.
The kids want dinner and they want to talk to you. Yeah.
And then it's like, then it just becomes a bit stressful. And then you're like, okay, we'll just talk about that later. And then, of course, you've been tidying the house all morning, and then there was just like stuff everywhere. And it's just that reality of like, oh my God, like you just come back to reality with bang.
Yeah. But you need to have those moments of like elation, because otherwise you never get out of that. Like, I hear what you're saying about like you have to work hard. Categorically, 100%.
Yeah,
I am the biggest believer in hard work going. Like, I will outwork, and it's not like a badge of honour like I used to wear it.
Will bleed.
But I'll just work. Like, what's her name? Who sings that song? Whatever her name is, the one who's worth $1 billion now. Thingamajiggy. She's pregnant. She did the Super Bowl. Rihanna. What's her name?
Rihanna.
Is it Rihanna?
Yeah.
Who did you just go to Manchester with?
Story of my life.
Oh, don't start.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. No, just stop.
Karaoke classic.
Karaoke and audition classic. We'll have to find that somewhere. But you have to have those moments out of that, because you do have to work hard, but you have got to work smart as well. And people say that. And I think when you're in the working hard camp, you're like, yeah, but you don't get it. You don't get it. But if you always continue to just work hard, then you'll just stay where you're at. Where you are now in your life, trigger warning here, where you are in your life is exactly where you're supposed to be. If that's a good thing, fantastic, well done you. If it's not, do something about it. You're not a tree, move.
I know so much now, like in that I can identify the things that I need to do or the things that I need to change. And those 2 days away was like, you know, every so often it's like a wake-up call of going, if you don't fucking change and implement the things that you know you need to do, you're just going to go in a circle.
Yeah.
And something just clicked with me. I think as I was really lucky that I got to go and sit in some of the other talks, and but
also it's a big thing because you were delivering sessions for 30, 40 odd people. So that's like a big responsibility, isn't it? Like a big opportunity, and like.
I loved it.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Oh my God, I loved it. And it
probably ignited a spark that
it
you
did.
kind of hide intentionally or don't realise, because that like performer in you is always there. Like it comes out a little bit in this podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting because people say, are you nervous? Are you nervous to like do your talk? And I'm like, no, not in a cocky way. It's like, it's like exciting. Like I get like that thought of, oh, will everyone get value out of it? Like a natural thing, because there's like a mixture of female founders. Some might be new, some might not have a business, some might be like years down the line. But it's just an excitement. And it, like you say, definitely that kind of, not performing, I wasn't doing a tap dance, although I would have done.
That would have been nice.
It was like feeling, I think it's that connection with people, feeling like you're making an impact. Like when I was going through like some of my the ways I help my clients create like content for their social.
Guys, get ready for the hard sell. It's coming.
I could see these like light bulb moments going off in people, and it was like, that was so amazing to see. And then, as I say, in between, because I did like 4 masterclasses, but I managed to like sneak in to watch some of the other talks. So I was listening to Lisa Johnson, and she's obviously made a fantastic business for herself. But one of the things she said was...
And her family.
I think she employs pretty much all her family.
Yeah, I think she only has like 9 staff.
Yeah.
So that's like 5 million quid a year, doesn't it? Has 9 staff, they're all family.
So nice as well, like really down to earth.
It's my idea of fucking nightmare, by the way.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Oh, no, I could not.
But anyway, within the conversation, it was almost that saying, if you, like, things can take 6 months to implement. Okay, so if you don't take time to work on parts of your business maybe that you're thinking about, or stuff to drive that forward, then at the end of that 6 months,
you've still not started.
It's like
sowing a seed, isn't it?
And you might
watering
have
it every
all
day.
those clients for 6 months, but then at the end of it, you won't have any more because you've not taken any time to do it.
Because you can't. So we've been talking about it. I don't know if we covered it on the podcast or not, but you've been looking at taking on a member of staff.
Yes.
And you've just not because you've been so busy, again, working in the business, not on it, you haven't had the time to really sit down and look at the CV until today. Yeah. But I think sometimes as well, you can be kind of hard on yourself for like, not just you, people in general, about the stuff you haven't done. We pick ourselves up on it all the time. And you're probably getting better at this than I am. You're like, okay, let's not focus on what we haven't done. Yeah. Let's focus on what we have done. Yeah. And then you take some action to do something about it. And that was a catalyst. I think the weekend was a catalyst for like, okay, instead of disempowering yourself with what you haven't done, it was like, right, I'm now... There's like a weird urgency vibe. Yeah, and also it's like I plan, like one of my things. You look very attractive today. When you're very urgent, you're very attractive.
I haven't even done my hair properly. One of the things that I
wild woman.
I wouldn't even say struggle with. I just don't. I guess I haven't created the habit, which is ridiculous, of like time management. So this week, and this is the thing, right? So I've been away Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. So that's 3 days out of doing any work, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but I've got a lot of work on. Does that make sense?
3 days is a lot.
I was
in your world.
Okay with it because I told everyone
you made the decision,
what was going on. And then when I came back, and Sunday we saw some friends, and Sunday night, normally, if I'm honest, I would be on my laptop, starting to work to catch up on everything. Not catch up that I'm behind.
Get ahead.
Get ahead. And I said to you, I'm not doing it. I want to stop getting in that habit of like constantly working. And I sat there and all I did was plan out my diary for the week. I ordered the shopping. We sat down and we knew who was doing what school run, etc. And I was like, oh my God, it felt so nice that I wasn't like on my laptop, like staring at a screen. And I was like, it's those little changes that I know I need to do. And then chuck another spanner in the works. Poor George, Sunday night was up all night. I say poor George, poor James, because James was the one that was in the room sleeping next to him.
I fell asleep on his floor. I woke up with like a broken neck at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh my God. That's not nice. Honestly, we're at that age now where it bloody hurts as well. It's just not comfy. But he's then come down with, I don't know what he's got, but he's had a temperature, hasn't he, for like 3 days.
Bless him.
And normally that would be like so stressful. But I think in those moments you think, number one, he's the most like, that's more important than anything, making sure your kid's all right. And also it's just that of kind of feeling like, you know, everything's on track. I've got no deadlines that I'm late on. Like, it's okay. Yeah. And when you give your, like when you take that pressure off, it's like, I've actually probably got just as much work done. Does that make sense? Because he's been like sleeping and then I've taken him out for a walk and then he's like gone back off in his pram, or he's just been sitting watching telly while I've been doing stuff. He had the Connect sound out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I've still managed to get stuff done. But mentally...
Get a good parenting thing in there like that. He's been watching TV,
like, TV,
Kinetic Sand,
sleep,
doing
TV.
maths. He was doing some algebra, some coding.
Like,
I mean, geez.
This kid.
But isn't it interesting that the situation is no different, but your mentality towards it is completely different? Yeah. So you can even be like flapping about. Like today, I've had a client who we were late on, not late on delivering stuff because we still get it done in the morning, but we normally like to have stuff the day before so clients can sign it off, etc., etc. And it hasn't happened this week because we've been just stacked. Because again, it all comes together. Yeah. One of our guys, shout out to Sam, who'll be editing the video. I'm so glad you're back, Sam. I don't know how we survive without you. And then one of our other guys, Ali's been poorly, so he's been operating like 50%, God love him, but still coming in and trying to make it work. Bless. And then Eddie's been trying to fill in for like the work that Sam's not doing and the work that Ali's not doing. So before you know it, then anyone's been doing fuck all is me. Then I had like six calls today, like back to back. And normally when I got that message, I'd be fuming. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I'd be really annoyed at myself that I hadn't been managed. I was like, do you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah,
everyone's really busy.
Done. It's not
It'll
ideal.
Get done. It's not the end of the world. No one's going to die. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
But the only person who gets the person who gets the most annoyed about it is me.
Yeah.
And I think actually sometimes you kind of, I think that maybe like that work hard attitude, like you think you're using it as fuel, but actually maybe you're burning a reserve tank, and actually you're better off to just step back and just give yourself a little bit of space.
Like it.
Hey, in the words of Take That, just have a little patience. Have a little
some funny conversations with Louis this week, haven't we? He came home the other day, he's like, Mummy, there was a robber.
Oh, he's been on one today, hasn't he? You got to the bottom of it though, didn't you?
He's like, Mummy, there's a robber. I was like, what are we talking about? Yeah. They came over the gate of the school and then they went like this, as if they were trying to use their special powers. And then they said, this when I was this bit weird, then they said, oh, do you want to kill me? And I was like, whoa.
Hold on, this is suddenly not cute or funny.
What is going on here? So it was just, you know, like when you're trying to get to the bottom of it, and kids, oh my God, then he was like going, yeah. And then apparently they look like Mr. Levins, which is his teacher. I don't know if I can say that. I've said it. Dressed up. I'm like, okay, interesting. And then he's like, but, you know, apparently they were wearing like a logo emblem of his school. And then he's like, but this is my opinion, is that someone's nan.
This is what he's come up with this by himself.
Someone's nan has probably knitted them.
Has seen us going to school.
Yeah, and has knitted them that jumper. And then they're wearing the jumper and then they climb over the gate. So it's like this massive story. Okay, and apparently the teacher got told and then the headmaster got told. So that
and one of the kids like runs into the classroom because the robbers are coming.
This sounds a bit scary. And I'm like, as a parent, I'm like, don't like the thought of, you know, someone just climbing over the fence. And then I'm getting on to the other mum, and Louie's doing like a voice note.
Wildfire.
So then she phones another mum, and before we know it, there's all of us talking about it. Turns out completely false.
Absolute bullshit.
Absolutely
just chatting
false.
Pure bollocks.
One of the little girls just made it up.
Fantastic.
So that was cool.
So good.
And also this week, Louis.
To be fair though, because apparently there is a flasher, is there not, who's outside the school at the moment, who's just getting his knob out for the mums, which me and Hayley had an argument about, because she was like, oh, that's bad. She went, what would you do? And I think we got into the conversation, what would you do? And I said, I'd rip the guy's fucking dick off.
And I was
like... And she's like, oh, so would you do that in front of your son? You just go and beat a guy out, would you? I was like, if there's a guy outside of school, naked, I'm going to batter him. Yes.
Yeah, but what does that...
It stops the naked man coming back and being naked again. Because maybe it will...
But then your son will be scarred for life.
No, I'm going to send him into school first. I'm going to get one of the other mums. Can you just take him? I'm going to take him down the woods. I'm just going to batter him quietly. Oh, you reckon, do you?
Well,
you want
I just saw it on the paper and I was like, actually, that's muggy.
That's not muggy. You're are you not the mug this week?
I think you're a mug.
Okay, so I'm a mug for protecting our son against flashers. Sorry, so be it. Have you been a mug? Can't even sing it.
Mug.
Can't sing it, it's too loud. Think of the children.
Sing it.
Who's a mug? Who's a mug? Have you been a mug? Who's a mug? Go on.
This is the thing. We decided that we're going to just call each other a mug if you've been a mug or I've been a mug. And so we were like...
Who's got a mug?
Who's been more muggy
this week? This is gold.
James reckons it's me.
You. Who's a mug? Who's a mug? Oh. Right, get this.
It is a bit muggy.
It's also about a mug, so it's perfect.
It's brilliant. Muggy mug.
It is like just the perfect situation. In movies, they call it prophetic fallacy. So when like this scene embolises the mood. So like the fact that this is like a double mug off about a mug. Right. It's like mug-based prophetic fallacy. Right? So I'm just doing my chores of an evening while Hayley sat down on the sofa. I'm just trying to get it's probably Sunday actually, think about it.
You're probably doing the ironing.
So I was probably doing the ironing. I probably then did Louis' shoes, which are an absolute fucking state, by the way. It's going to be embarrassing.
Shoes.
Clark's, have a word with yourselves. I'm going Deutschmann. You carry on, I'm going Deutschmann. I'm going Deutschmann. What's it called?
Deutschmann.
I love a bit of Deutschmann.
I don't know if that's
you could have 37 pairs of Deutschmann shoes for the same price as Clark's.
Yeah.
Clark's
I
might as
don't
well.
know what Louis does for his shoes, but the Clark's Velcro is just like a thread by
it's
the
just,
end of
battered.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we could buy him another pair of shoes,
good,
but
does any other parent do that as well? When it's like getting close to the end of year and it's like you can see that they're battered, but it's like
keep the shoes,
just one more week.
Keep the t-shirts.
Come on,
keep the shorts.
I saw Louis tonight just had like his like whole dinner down his t-shirt. Anyway, mug.
So I was doing my chores. I said to her, Hayley, do you want a cup of tea, sweetie? That's what I normally ask. She went, yeah, please. I'll have a fruit one. Okay, cool. So, get this. So I go to the kettle. I boil the kettle. Hang on. Oh no, that's the wrong button. So I go to the kettle. I boil the kettle. I do her a lemon and ginger because she's sort of fruity and fiery in my mind. So I think she'll like a lemon and ginger. She doesn't like peppermint, and she doesn't want chamomile unless she's exactly going to bed.
Chamomile. I do like peppermint, but
anyway, too much detail. So I then walk in with a mug, just a random mug, and she goes, "Oh, I don't like it when you use that mug for fruit tea." I was like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? And she's genuinely, she went, I actually get a little bit annoyed because I like my morning cup of tea in that cup. Have you ever in your fucking life heard of anything more genuinely pathetic than having a favourite cup for your morning cup of tea that you'd be annoyed about if someone bought your fruit tea in the evening before? If so, I think that's muggy, but I am willing to stand corrected.
There will be a lot
if
of
you have got a favourite mug
that they would want to drink in. I've got a collection. There's some that I hate, and there's some that I like.
Like, you don't like the coloured ones, do you? You don't like the dark green ones or the ones that have got like there's the Bowie.
Can't make a good cup of tea.
Can't make a good cup of tea in a coloured cup. That's weird.
Like dark
Why is
green,
that?
it's just
weird. Find out. We should get tea expert on. But she mugged me off.
More chinery ones.
We've got zero chinery cups. Are you kidding me? They're all 100% Taiwan ceramic.
But before we move on to our small business,
I want to find out. I want to find out if anyone else has got a specific mug that they have to have for a specific drink at a specific time. Send us a photo and we will share it. Tag us at Business Marriage Pod and we will share it out. And you can also be a mug. In fact, best mug wins a mug. How about that? In fact, anyone who sends in a mug gets a mug.
Wins a mug.
And if there's 50 mugs, I'm sending 50 mugs out.
No, we're not sending out
23 quid a mug. I don't give a fuck. Full of money I am.
Before we do our small business shout out, because you're going to share some exciting events that you.
Oh yes, I am.
I just had to share. This just cracked us up. So we're eating dinner. This is how childish James and I am. We were eating dinner.
I don't even know what this is.
The other night, and Louis, we were talking about like what you want to be when you grow up. I don't even know why.
No, he just came out with it from nowhere. This was the weird bit.
He said, I want to be a policeman. He'd always want to be a paleontologist.
He's never said policeman.
Why do you want to be a policeman? And he said, because I want handcuffs. And me and James are like absolutely wetting ourselves.
I was just gone. I was like, Mummy must want to be a policewoman as well then.
Yeah, and you know, like those in-jokes. Anyway, it just made us laugh.
He was absolutely convinced. He's like,
okay. There was something else he said as well. I can't remember it. It's awful, but it's just
so funny. Just absolutely so funny. Right, before we get on to the final part of today's show, which is our greatest ever down to earth with a bump moments, because we've had a few over the years. I've got to do a small business shout out, right? So, big shout out to my podcast client, actually, Anjali Sidar. Now, by the way, if you'd like a top-rated podcast, this has been created by the creators and the largest agency in Europe, who've launched now 170 successful podcasts around the world. Yeah, I mean, just hold your applause, that's fine. Fucking hell. Get the programme. You're supposed to help me like hype this up, right? Don't bother. Anyway, so Anjali launched her podcast last week. It went into the charts at number 63. Oh, yes, we were very satisfied with that. Oh, she just sent me a message.
Yeah.
One of her reels on YouTube, she's got 4,500 likes in like 2 hours. She's like, how the hell did that happen? It's like, I don't know. It's just the algorithm of the YouTube. Let's just ride it and hope for the best.
Go with it.
Anyway, so she... so she launched her podcast last week, but as well as launching her podcast, which was fantastic, go and check it out. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Actually, Feel It In Your Soul podcast is very, very good. We've got some celebrities, actors, athletes.
With you on that one,
it was here you go. She had to get herself in there, didn't she? She had to get a little collab in there. But anyway, Anjali said to me, I'm going to do a launch event.
Nice.
What should I do for the launch? And normally we just do like a digital launch. Like there's a 14-day promo process that we go through. You make graphics and videos and warm up the audience effectively. But she said, I want to actually do like an in-person event, because she's got an amazing place called the Soul Deli. And Soul Deli is based out of Elstree Studios. It's unbelievable. Yes. It's an amazing location. The studios is 100 years old. It's where they filmed The Shining and
Shining.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark, Star Wars. They've got like the George Lucas stage. Like they filmed loads of cool stuff there. The Chase, Bradley Walsh walked past me the other day. Very nice man apparently, and more handsome than you'd believe, and a little bit taller. So she said that she wanted to do this event there, and I was thinking, okay, cool. But I've been, around the podcast space for a while now, right? And around the PR space for even longer. And I know lots of people, and events. I know lots of people who say, like, I'm going to put an event on. I'm going to put 30, 40 people in the room, and I'm going to get some press down there. And they don't necessarily do it. It was a Thursday night. Elstree is an amazing location, but don't get me wrong, it's out of London. It's Zone 6. It's out of Central. It was like midweek. I was like, oh, I hope this is going to be all right, because she's, going to cater for it and all this sort of stuff. Bloody brilliant event. 40, 50 people turned up. She had like a drone photography guy doing that. She had 5 of her expert speakers. Gemaline Artegas from The Apprentice. DJ Turno, who's just got a hit record as a drum and bass producer. Simona Barbieri from Hub Dot. Deborah Francis, who's like a award-winning artist, and loads of like cool people who all turned up for the launch of this podcast, right?
How amazing.
Abigail from Holler, who's a former professor, who's now a social media influencer. She had this like panel talk, and it was unreal. It's just a brilliant event. And also, because it's Soul Deli, she catered for it as well. And I've got to give them a shout out for this. So go on, I think I'll have to find the link. I think it's souldeli.co.uk, but go and check out. She roasts her own coffee. She only buys from female farmers and fair trade farmers. And the food was unbelievable. So they're an Asian family. Yeah. So it's like Asian fusion catering. So it was like samosas, little bargies, but then there was like little sausage rolls, and it was unbelievable. So if you are gonna, and by the way, you can actually hire Elstree Studios for events.
Really?
So I'm thinking like we should do like a Business Marriage Live. If you would like to come to Business Marriage Live, just DM us the word deli.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, how cool would that be? So
deli.
yeah, so the food. DM us the word deli onto Instagram. But yeah, we've it was, the food was amazing. They had a small batch gin company that came all the way from Birmingham to like make people gin cocktails and stuff. It was just brilliant. So
I just love that
shout out to
people
Angela.
Just have like so much passion for their.
Oh, it was unreal.
Craft. I know it's not about that, but she's such a beautiful. I love like. I follow her on social.
Oh, because she's beautiful. No, but that's more worthwhile.
No, but just the way she posts, she's just got such a nice...
she's got a lovely soul.
Yeah, a lovely soul.
Feel it in your soul.
A lovely soul. There you go.
So shout out to Angela. Go check out her podcast, Feel It in Your Soul podcast, and check out the Soul Deli as well. And if you're looking to host an event, if you're in North London, check out Elstree, because I tell you what, flippity flip, the sausage rolls were some of the best things I've ever put in my mouth. And trust me, I've had a lot of stuff in my mouth in my time. Right. Final bit of today's podcast, our greatest down with a bump moments. We're going to sort of semi-quick fire go through some.
Sorry,
hopefully someone can get a slow motion of that. Yeah.
So,
you know when you see like our boxing slow man, it looks so much more painful and slow.
I have to apologise. Have to apologise because whilst we were talking about the lovely Angela, then I sort of laughed, and it was because I suddenly realised that we hadn't explained.
We haven't referenced
why we have this. So Louis decided that he wanted to make a gallery.
It's an art gallery, guys.
All of a sudden this morning there were just all these animals. I did draw one of them quite shamefully. The title was mine. Yeah. So
that, what I think is nice about that though is the fact that even rabbits with mixed mitosis have got a place on our wall. And even diseased fish.
That?
I think it's a cheetah with
a shark whose teeth have been pulled out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. Oh, is that a ram?
That is a ram, yeah, but that's like
it's had its face.
Yeah, it's had its face just punched, and it's just been punched. That's an evil rat.
It's a lion.
What I can only imagine is a bumhole for a nose.
It's a lion.
Oh, that's a lion. Okay. Yeah. What's the other one?
That's
I'm not sure which one you can see. That one over there is quite good. The little frog. I thought it was ironic, like comic drawing.
Is that a frog or a snake?
That's a. Oh yeah, it's not a good frog. It's a snake, definitely.
What's that brown bear? Is that a bear?
Yeah, I think so.
I think is that a dog?
I think that's the bear. It looks like the bear out of Bo Select, you know, the one who gets really rude and like his knob pulls out. Anyway,
what's that
good on him.
Doing? I don't know.
I've got a new client who owns an art gallery. I'm going to send him a photo and see if he'll fancy.
I think that's why he did it, because you said I've got a client who's got an art gallery, so he wrote art gallery. He's written it wrong.
I didn't get that.
He's written it wrong, but it's fine. You put it up there for him.
Oh, did I do that?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I just started laughing because I thought we haven't
addressed
anyway.
Literally the elephant in the room.
When we were talking about when you do something great or an experience that's amazing, and then that moment where it transitions from that to like just being
reality.
Yeah,
this is not a negative thing.
To reality.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you can't live in a dream the whole time,
can you? About a few, and I thought, well, let's try and be quick because I know what we're like. So we're just going to run through some of the ones that we thought that we came up with.
Much too dramatic. Got him.
You, James.
Oh, me, right. So the first greatest down-to-earth with a bump moment was X Factor. So for those of you
who don't know, guys, James is on X Factor.
I was on X Factor in 2000.
He didn't make it to the final.
2006, 2007.
I don't need this much information.
And it was me and Ridian and a load of the other people. Anyway, long story short, I thought this is going to be absolutely amazing. Like this is going to be
the making of you.
The making of us. This is why we got engaged. I was like, I'm probably going to be a big superstar now, but I want you to know that I'm committed to you for life.
Why?
Yeah,
you're awful. That is. You should have just waited.
Or maybe I shouldn't have waited. And all those offers that got put on the table from Simon Cowell, Louis Walsh.
There was a lot of offers on the table, James.
Big Tony, the security guard.
Yeah.
So we did X Factor. We thought it would be like the coolest thing ever because I've never been involved in like TV stuff. I think I went on like Terry something's TV show on Sky back in the day. Not Terry Nutkins. Not Terry Nutkins. Another Terry. It was a Manchester comedian. Terry Christian, I think he was called. He was like a comedian.
I don't know. Probably want to check that he's not on one of those lists.
Not on a list, yeah.
Oh, God.
He's anyway, leave that alone. So I thought it was going to be brilliant.
He said?
He said leave it alone. Leave it alone. Now it's finished.
We shouldn't joke about that.
He said, no, we shouldn't joke about that, especially if you watch the BBC. Leave it. So I thought it was going to be the coolest thing ever. Turns out it's the most boring shit of all time. We got there, we were hyped up, we're in the queue. They've got like the big cameras going over
there. Don't they?
Yeah, they're absolute
like
shit
if you're
talkers.
Rubbish, they're like, they've got the cameras on you. They're like, do you think your mum would be proud of you?
Yeah. Would you? Who would? What about one of them that they said? This was once we got to judges' houses. Was imagine the people that are no longer here. Imagine how they would be thinking you've behaved today.
That is just so awful to think that.
Anyway, so I was super excited about it, and then we waited 16 hours. Simon Cowell hated us and went, I don't get it. I think it's awful. I don't like the outfits. I don't like the harmonies. I don't like the dance moves. Everything about this is dreadful. But one of the producers really liked us. So they were like, oh, Danny Minogue liked us. Sharon liked us. And the other one, Brian, who's the choreographer guy.
Oh, yeah.
So we got brought back the second day. So we had another 18 hours. We had to work out a dance routine overnight and a new outfit and all that shit. And it was just really fucking average.
There you go.
Had to get changed in a toilet in front of Fern Cotton.
It was shit.
So there we go.
Shit. So the next one I wrote, when we got married, at a place called Gaines Park.
It was.
In Epping Forest. It was the most beautiful place, converted barn, and you got married in an orangery. It was just most idyllic place. But you can't stay there apart from the bride and groom. And there's like a little cottage that you can stay in. So we had this most amazing wedding with all of our friends and family. It was just like a dream, wasn't it? It was just perfect. And then everyone left and we went to our cottage, and firstly, my sister's son Alfie had vomited all in our cottage. He was only little, wasn't he? Bless him. He had been really ill, so there was a stench of sick. And the next morning...
it was still wet on the floor.
Yeah, rank. And the next morning, our beautiful wedding basket breakfast consisted of... Wait for it.
Bear in mind, we've spent £28,000 with this people.
It wasn't just on that.
Okay, yeah. About 20 odd grand.
I had a pot of jam. I don't think there was even any butter. No. And I had 2 slices of like pretty rank gluten-free bread wrapped in cling film. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we were just like...
£20,000. And you get dry
so
gluten-free bread.
Depressing.
I think they gave me a croissant.
With rain. Yeah. And it was like, fucking hell, what a shit. And we ended up... Do you remember? We drove up the road and went to like a cafe or something.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah, we had to go into town, didn't we?
Like these, so it just shows you again that whole, like, you know, like when we talk about in business, the whole process is all as important, the start and the end.
It's all the experience, guys.
Oh my God, this next one cracks me up.
Okay.
When we went to Australia with our friends for his 30th.
It was magical.
And we were sailing around the Whitsundays on a catamaran. And there's a place called Hamilton Island, which is very... I guess like affluent.
Yes.
Where you go there, lots of people
But
have
you can only
money.
get there via a boat or a helicopter.
Yes. And so we were told to like, you can just like dock up.
More
up. And that's fine. So we went out and
so we got a 42-foot yacht, like catamaran yacht thing that one of the lads on the boat could drive. So we like self-sailed this thing. It was unreal.
We had a bit of a blockage in one of the toilets, didn't we? It was like 4 bedrooms.
Yes.
We had a bit of a blockage.
Toilets out of both sides, yeah.
And basically, somehow, it unblocked all across the jetty.
No, we unblocked it.
Oh, we
unblocked it. So we all come back drunk from Chris's dinner, and then we got more drunk. And what happens is they say, look, release the bowels of the ship when you're out in the ocean. So normally, this is why they tell you not to put anything down it. So you just like, you dump your shit in the sea. Yeah. It's a drop of shit in the sea, so it's not going to cause any problems. But we hadn't thought, and someone who's obviously gone to the toilet in the middle of the night drunk has then pressed the release valve.
Oh no.
So we're on Hamilton Island. We saw Lady Gaga flew in on a helicopter as we pulled up. It's probably like the net worth of the people here is probably like $10 billion. Yeah. We literally, when we woke up in the morning, luckily we got up before anybody else.
Do you remember seeing all the...
Got up so hanging. Looked over the side. I was like, oh my God, what is that? That looks like human. Oh my God, it is. And we had literally sprayed our catamaran's bowels of shit all over Hamilton Island.
Oh no, there was toilet roll and everything.
There was toilet roll. So I ended up brushing it into the Hamilton Island dock. And then what was he called? Dave, who woke up, he was like, mate, I'll get the hose pipe. And he was just like spraying shit up the side of the boat.
Anyway, that
was a good time.
Moving on.
Anyway, this is making us sound well fancy though, isn't it? Because the next one is about being on Paul's plane.
And the next one's about flights, to be fair.
Jesus, we are really, really fancy. So my mate Paul, and in fact my business partner in one of the businesses, is he's a private pilot. So he can fly little single what do you call it? Propeller engines.
Yeah.
You can't do a jet engine. We can do a propeller engine. So he's got a plane which he rents out, and we were going to a meeting in Wales, and he was like, "Have you ever been in a small private plane?" I was like, "No, this is gonna be fucking cool." He said, "Do you want to go? We'll go to because otherwise the meeting's like 4.5 hours each way." He's like, "We can fly it in 35." I went, "Fucking right, let's do that." Mega cool. So we're flying along, sort of going along, yes, do you want to fly? I'm like, yeah, fucking right. So I'm like guiding it onto the...
I did not know this.
Yeah, I'm guiding it onto the horizon, keeping it straight, keep it flat and level or whatever they call it, shitting my pants. It's like really overwhelming because you can like move it up and down, forwards and back, left and right. That was good fun. Anyway, he was like, oh, look down there, you can see Edgbaston Cricket Ground. I don't know what it was, but at that moment I looked down and I realised how high we were, and it just because they're so small, they just keep bumping the whole time. And I'd had a Huel, chocolate Huel, but it hadn't been refrigerated, so it was warm.
Oh, God.
And all of a sudden I felt like sick as a dog, but I hadn't planned to be sick, and you don't get sick bags on private planes because it's private plane people who don't need sick bags.
What did you?
So I took my laptop out of my briefcase. I then took the laptop out of the laptop case. I put my briefcase and the laptop behind me, and I sat there with my laptop case, and Paul's just sort of like flying along, and he's going, yeah, we're okay, we're coming into land in a minute, blah, blah, blah. And he's sort of looking across, I can see him looking across at me, but he's sort of like too polite to say anything. He went, what the fuck are you doing with your bag, mate? And I said, I'm going to puke. He went, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to puke into my laptop bag. So I sat there with a fucking laptop bag to puke.
Did you puke in it?
Did not puke in it.
Oh, no. Sometimes that's worse,
felt rough, though. I felt so awful. Yeah.
Miss it. But this next one, which I'm still not convinced on, James is like, yeah, you know, like...
This was stupid.
That back to down to earth with a bump. I don't even know how that's relevant.
So this was an upgraded flight that I got, right? So when I was making a little bit of money a little while ago, and I thought I was much richer than I was, we were flying back from a business trip from South Africa, and it's an overnight flight, and it's not always that busy because we always used to fly back on a Sunday night to get back on for a Monday morning. And the flight was like half full, so there was loads of upgrades available. So we paid £1,100 to get upgraded on this flight. Right, so when you go upgraded, you can go like to the upper class lounge, and they've got like a little gym in there, and they give you free food, and they give you a bar and all this kind of stuff, and they give you like a nice experience. You get on the plane first, and they give you like a little sleeping bag and all the rest of it. But the main sell of it on Virgin upper class is that there's a bar.
Yeah.
So you just get up and you just go to the bar. You've probably seen the pictures of Branson at the bar. So we went up to the bar a couple of times. You all right? Yeah, so I was going to burp or be sick. I'm not sure which. And then we went back to the seat, we had a bit of dinner, and then I just fell asleep. Which you go, okay, well, that's what you've got a lie flat bed for.
Exactly.
But for £1,100 for a fucking sleep.
Bed. So you can lay down.
But I just like missed the whole experience. Like they came around, I missed breakfast, I missed the dinner. They did champagne every half an hour or whatever. I mean, I'd have been absolutely tanked up.
If I'm ever going to fly business or first, like I'm taking everything. That
go in the daytime so you don't fall asleep.
Oh,
what a waste! £1,100 for a nap.
All right, we're gonna go for a few more because
quick fires.
Yeah, okay. So I've got working overseas. So being in a dream job, working overseas, Thomas Cook. Then we come back.
Yeah.
So we've been singing, dancing, having the time of our life, and then I couldn't find a job, and my mum says, there's no offence by the way, mum says to me, I need someone to come and help me at the school. She was a school cook, she needed someone to serve school dinners. So I went from being in my complete dream job and life to serving shepherd's pie to kids.
Because you couldn't find the job you wanted.
No, I mean, to be fair, I actually quite enjoyed it.
To be fair to
you, we got a lunch at the end of every day. It's amazing. Loved
also,
it.
Fair play to you, because a lot of people just sign on, but you went out and grinded it out and worked. Good for you.
I think this one is where we'll end it on.
This is another. Which one are you going to go for? Turkey. Oh God.
Turkey. So when we first got together, we, you know, like as you do, you go on these like couples holiday. We went to Turkey, didn't we? And it was
our first
lovely.
ever holiday.
We stayed in Aludeniz, which is a very purpose tourist built resort, which we didn't know at the time. Yeah. Anyway, so it's not massive, was it? And
it was nice.
There was like a strip of like restaurants and things, and there was one that just looked amazing. It was like all white, and it was all like candlelit. Do you remember at night?
Oh,
it had like a piano
next to the pool, wasn't it? There's a pool.
So stunning. So we said, come on, one night, let's treat ourselves.
I forgot about this part.
And we go for like a really beautiful dinner. So we got all dressed up. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we went there, and the setting was just beautiful. And then they brought out the menu, and I remember choosing moussaka. I love moussaka. And I remember when it came out that it wasn't that hot. Do you remember?
Mm.
It was like warm.
Tepid
and
moussaka.
But it was like, it's got to be a nice restaurant. Look at it. Be fine. Oh my God. The next day I was so ill.
But
and
it gets worse.
We were going on a Jeep safari, okay? So this Jeep safari is like all these different activities throughout the day. So first of all, our fucking driver was just an absolute lunatic. Do you remember? He was taking us on these sand dunes and just driving like an absolute bellend.
Really
Can I say bellend?
Yeah.
He was like going on like the edge of like the cliff bits, and it was just like
drifting it on the top.
Not
horrible.
fun at all. Then we turn up at a fucking trout farm.
First up, the trout farm.
And it was literally, I just remember all these people just stood round like a pond.
Look at the trouts.
Just these trouts that were like just like gasping for air. And I thought, oh my God, I actually really need a toilet. And it was
when the food poisoning first kicked in.
One toilet for like all of these people. So, you know, and you're like, I just can't go. I'm just going to have to hold it in. And it was the worst day ever.
Yeah.
Where I think, was that the mud? I'm not sure if that was a mud bath day. I don't even know how I got through that day.
We went to the freezing cold gorge, Avogus Gorge, do you remember?
The gorge was amazing.
That was
At that
good.
point, I had managed to find a toilet, but I was so ill. I definitely had food poisoning. Like I felt like my
shivery
insides
and
were coming out. And I honestly thought, this is going to be a bad day. I'm going to shit myself. I can admit I didn't shit myself, so that was good.
Fantastic.
But how the day ended, and I'll never forget, and I'm still never forgive you that we never, because at the end they ask you if you want to buy any of the photos from the day, but James was so tight. He was like, no, we don't want them. No, why would we want all those lovely memories of us in a mud bath and at all these places? We've got nothing. But it ended in like a petrol station. So imagine a petrol station where you get your petrol, diesel, and there was just like
a little service station. Yeah.
And it was like, here you go. But they tried to like sell it like it was
like it was part of the experience.
What a lovely thing that you get to just hang out in this sort of like
swimming pool area
next to this
fucking petrol station.
It was awful.
It was like a Shell garage. It was a Shell garage with a petrol station out the back instead of a toilet. It was so weird.
What started as like this romantic, beautiful meal ended up, honestly, in a whole day of me just feeling like, oh my God.
Trout farms, near death.
Trout farm.
Shit in your pants.
Awful.
And finishing the day with a garage. So there we go. So.
Oh, I did have one more actually.
I guess the lesson for this, what one?
When you're on a promise and then you have a big dinner.
Oh, that is always a big
We all do that, don't we? You get rid of the kids, you think, oh yeah, we're going to have like a really nice night, we're going to connect and all that. Then you go out, don't you?
Yeah.
You eat the biggest dinner and then you're just full of gas.
Yeah.
You can be bothered.
Don't go near me. Don't go near me because I'm going to be like a whoopee cushion. Anyway, so regardless of where you're at, thanks for the detail there. Wherever you're at, maybe you're on cloud 9 right now. You're coming down at some point, pal, so don't get stuck up there. And if you're down at the bottom, don't worry, you're going to get to cloud 9 again at some point again soon. Cheers for your ears, as always. Thank you for listening to this installment of the podcast. Thanks for bearing with us while we're a little bit quiet because the kids were in bed. But we love you for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, click 5-star review. I don't know what. Click 5-star review. And also, if you're on YouTube, click subscribe because everyone says click subscribe and shit. Do all that shit. Yeah, do all that shit for us. Thank you. We love you. Goodbye.
This show is a Phonic Media production.